Super Rugby Trans-Tasman round 4, Reds versus the Blues in Brisbane Suncorp Stadium. Okay, now this game is pretty close, I would say. Both teams lacked the clinical execution to really put the other team under consistent pressure and put points on the board. So in the end, it was 4 tries to 3 to the Blues. 1 conversion penalties each side. So pretty close, but the Blues pretty much had the lead for the entire game. No, they had the lead for the entire game. So the Reds were playing catch up for the entire game. Going into this game, there has been a couple of really unfortunate injuries for the Reds. So apparently, James O'Connor was ruled out with a neck injury today. Okay, it's just before the game started. Okay, a few hours before the game. And then Bryce Hegarty, who's supposed to be the replacement 10, also ruled out injured for I think it was for hamstring. Yeah, so it was so the Reds really had to scramble in the backline a little bit. They had Hamish Stewart at number 10, and they had a new guy, Mac Greeley from Downlands, from Toowoomba, who went to literally 19-year-old, just finished school, stepping in at number 15 for the Reds. So some big shoes to fill. And I wouldn't say that it was because of these two players, but the Reds' attack did look like a little bit did look disorganized. And the execution was very lacking. Same with the Blues' attack. They were also lacking in clinicalness, but the Blues did have the game in control for most of the game. So the Blues were in control, and the Blues defense were very, very solid. And then also something really, really weird that was talked about in the game, and that really put me off a lot. So the commentators were talking about the injuries and who's in, who's out as the game's about to begin, and apparently Tate McDermott, who usually plays for number 7 for the Reds, he's apparently playing club rugby tomorrow, and he chooses not to play for the Reds. I am not sure. I tried to Google the news to see what is actually happening. Or maybe, I don't know. I couldn't find any news, but that's what the commentator said. Tate McDermott had committed to play club rugby tomorrow, and he's not available to play for the Reds today. I was really I genuinely could not believe I heard that. The fans are paying money to watch you play, and you decide to prioritize your mates at your clubs so you can have a drink afterwards with them over fans that are paying. I was very unhappy to hear about that. Not very pleased. Quite disappointing. Anyway, the game started. The Blues were there was back and forward. The Reds started a bit scrappy. There was a bit of mistakes, so it led to the Blues putting the Reds under quite a bit of pressure. And eventually, Blues had a first opportunity to score points at let me have a look what time it was. 11 minutes in. So Reds had gave away a penalty right in front. Blues said, we're going to respect the Reds. We'll take the 3. And Blues gets off to a 3-point start. And the arm wrestle kind of continues. Both teams weren't being clinical with their executions. So a lot of back and forward for about another 10 minutes. And then eventually the Reds were able to crack the door open for the first try for Wilson. So the Reds were running the ball, putting pressure on the Blues outside I think it was about 20-25 meters out from the Reds try line. Hunter Paisami got the ball, and he runs in runs into the defense line. As he makes contact, Harry Wilson comes in, literally about a meter away from Wilson, from Paisami, like right next to him. A beautiful unders run, and then Paisami just went a little short pass, and Harry Wilson just bam straight through the gap and runs in for the first try for the Reds. It looked extremely good. Like, that line was beautiful, and it came out of nowhere. First try for the Reds, where Reds get on board 7 points to 3. And due to the fact that O'Connor and Hegarty used to be the kicker, due to the fact that both kickers were missing, they had Isaac Henry. Is it Isaac? Isaac Henry kicking for the Reds, who's just been brought up last week. Isaac Henry, now he's following the kicking duties. He did pretty well. He got all 3 conversions from the tries. He did miss a penalty kick in the first half, but overall, for his first outing, that's pretty good. He gets the kick, 7 points to 3 for the Reds. A few minutes later, the Blues strikes back. There was a lot of pressure piled on from the Blues. Okay, so there was repeated penalties against the Reds. Blues opted for a line out. The line out comes in. The Moore gets illegally collapsed by Faianga, the number 2 from the Reds. And he gets yellow carded. Okay, and that was very, very painful to lose him for the Reds, especially when the Reds have a shuffle in the back line. They really did not need that. So the Blues opted for another line out, bring another Moore. That Moore was illegally collapsed again, and I thought the referees were going to send off another Reds player, and the referee's like, nah, we'll let you go this time. Okay, luckily, he could have sent off another player because it's back-to-back penalties, same penalties for illegally collapsing the Moore. So the Blue goes, all right, we'll do another one. Maybe someone else will get sent off. So Blues went for the third line out, another Moore, and this time the Red stops it. Blues didn't go anywhere. But the Blues gets the ball out, pick and drive, and the Reds are just going backwards on the pick and drives. Eventually, Talea gets the ball. Eventually, Papali gets the ball. He drives himself over for the first try for the Blues. The Blues strikes right back, 10 points to 7. And then the pressure kept on building against the Reds because of the yellow card. So at 32 minutes in, okay, we saw something that is unprecedented. Okay, everybody witnessed Vindavalu, the guy with the sweetest name in rugby, pack down his first ever scrum, okay? And this is something quite interesting to watch. A professional rugby player packing his first scrum ever. There's a lot of firsts this time. Pack his first scrum ever in his professional career, right? It was so funny to watch, right? He was at blind. They put him in because obviously the Reds didn't want to give away a scrum penalty against the Blues because the Blues have a really strong scrum. So they put Vindavalu on the blind side flanker, so he's not like really have to do much. So he gets down. Get this. What you think? Okay, I want you to let's imagine this. All right. Vindavalu is told to binding on the loose side. He gets down on his knees and he looks to his side. All right. The second rower next to him is crouch binding, reaching down, crouch binding onto Tupou. Right. And he sees the hooker crouch binding. He reaches down as well and tries to crouch bind onto Tupou as the number 6 in the blindside flanker position. He reaches to try to crouch bind, and the number 8 from the Reds sees this. He taps him the shoulder. He goes, no, you don't crouch bind on as a flanker. And then he grabs his arm, right? The number 8 grabs his arm, pulls it out, and places it onto the back of the second rower where it should be. He literally grabs it and puts it where his arm should be, and he goes, "Yeah, this is the way how you bind." He was taught how to bite under the scrum in a professional rugby game. Oh my. The first time ever, guys, a professional player learns how to bind under the scrum on live television. First time ever. That was quite funny to watch. He tried to crotch bind as a blindside flanker. But anyway, that's the first time ever we've seen it. Okay, tick that off the box. 1 minute later, the Reds gets the scrum steady, kicks the ball out. 1 minute later, Blues retains ball from the clearance kick from the Red scrum, and Blues start attacking. 1 minute later, Blues scores their second try, or third try in the first of the game. Sorry, second try of the game. Sorry, my bad. Second try of the game. Basically, they were just building pressure, and there was a nice. They were like center field. There was a breakdown in the center field. Blues get the ball out. There was a nice screenplay. There was nice screenplay. One runner in front, and there was another loop runner behind. The loop runner is Talea. The Blues halfback passes the ball to Talea, who loops behind the screen runner, and he just runs straight through the Reds defense. No one saw him come around, and it was just like a big gap there. No one barely touched him. Goes over. Second try for the Blues. And it looked really, really easy. And, that was a really, really soft, that was a really soft defense of the Reds. Wilson missed the tackle. He could have probably made a tackle on Talea, but he missed. So, Blues going into halftime. So, going to halftime, so that's 33 minutes. Going to halftime, the Reds, in the final minute, dying minute at halftime, had a full-on penalty. 40 meters out, right in the middle. The Reds opted for a penalty kick to try to get the 17 points to 7 to try to close the gap a little bit. But Henry missed the kick. It was a little bit far. He just missed a little bit. But I thought the Reds probably should kept the pressure on and went for a try there. So the decision-making there was a little bit questionable at halftime. So, considering that Henry is not really a regular kicker for the Reds, and this is quite a long distance kick for the Reds, and they should have gone for the maul from a line out. So anyway, halftime score 17 points to 7 to the Blues. Second half starts, and you're wondering who's going to come out first, and the Blues came out firing off the second half, and Blues right away piling pressure on to the Reds. Talea was just like really, really good at running the ball. The Reds were having a lot of trouble like tackling him. Every time he runs the ball, he seems to get a lot of distance out of it. And eventually he got the ball from the pass from the Blues, and he runs in. He just he ran like an unders line and crashes himself in towards the Reds line. He actually jumps as he literally his body was literally over the try line, right? And the Reds defenders lifted him up to prevent him from landing on the ground, and basically walked him back inside out of the try zone and planted him down to stop him from scoring a try, right? And the ball comes out. The number 9 from the Blues gets the ball. A really low flat pass from him. A really quick ball straight to Tuipu Lotu, the big guy from the Blues. And Tuipu Lotu was just 2 strides away from scoring. Gets the ball. He runs in. Barges himself through for the first try for the Blues. 3 minutes into the second half. That was pretty good start for the Blues. The Reds had to strike back, which they did. 5 minutes later, the Reds were putting the Blues under pressure inside their own half. There was I think there was a penalty against the Blues. So the Reds opted for a midfield scrum just outside the Blues try line. The scrum collapses, right? Yeah, the scrum collapses. So the scrum collapses, and the Reds got a penalty, full-on penalty. So the Reds started to spin the ball out. They got really close again. So they got really close, and then they start picking and driving. So the ball was, literally the ball was like on the line, right? And then there was a rack like on the line, and the ball just pops out of the side, and then it rolls forward. It pops out of the side. Okay, imagine you're really close to the try line. The ball pops out of the side, and it bounces and rolls onto the try line. And Payaga Mosa just jumped on it and scored a try. Okay, now this one probably should not have been a try. So the referee goes, okay, on-field decision try. I just want to see if the ball popped out forward. So the video referee watched. The Reds number 4 was like, looked like he's gonna pick and drive again, right? And the ball just slipped out his arm like sideways, and then he rolled forward. It was a knock on. And the TMO, Australian obviously, goes, the ball came out sideways, came out backwards, which was not backwards. You could probably argue that it came out sideways, but it was definitely not backwards. TMO says the ball came out backwards and then rolled forward, which was not the case. And the Reds number 4 lost control of the ball for sure. It looked pretty obvious. He tried to pick and go, and he lost control. The ball like squirted out of the side of his arm. That's basically how the ball popped out. And yeah, that should not be a try. But the TMO goes, yep, that's good enough. And the referee's like, all right, I'm not gonna overrule you. Gave a try for the Reds' second try. Henry converts this one. So Reds are back in touch with the Blues. And yeah, unfortunately, that only lasted about 5 minutes before the Blues put themselves back on the scoreboard again. Okay? The Blues were partying with pressure once again. And the Reds were just like going backwards and giving away repeated penalties. So the Blues were just, once again, pick and go, pick and go, pick and go. And the Reds were scrambling in defense. And it just seemed like every time the Blues ran like the channel between the breakdown, the Reds just have like lack people there to front up. Eventually the Blues got really close to try line, and the Blues number 9, Christie, looks up. There's no one there guarding the pillar position. He just goes, picks the ball up, puts it right down in front of him. Such an easy try for the Blues. And it's just like the Reds defense was, really, really lacking at this point. So that's the 4th try for the Blues. And then for that's 53 minutes, okay? And then the Reds try to score against the Blues. And at this point, the Reds reserves came on. And honestly, I wasn't very confident with the Reds reserves. They weren't, like last week, their defense was poor, and I thought the Blues were probably going to put more points when the reserves came on. Luckily, the Blues weren't able to score, and due to I think probably their execution wasn't very clinical, but the Reds weren't going forward either. So both teams were on a bit of a stalemate for about 10-15 minutes before finally the Reds were able to put a lot of pressure on the Blues again. There was a penalty just in front of the Blues goalpost. Reds opted for a scrum, and that turned into a penalty again. So Reds had the advantage. They get the ball out. I think it was, who was it that kicked it? Hamish Stewart gets the ball. He did a crossfield kick. Okay, a high ball crossfield kick to Dargunu. And Dargunu, right? Imagine this. Dargunu is like tiny, 175, 177, right? He runs in. Sees his high ball coming. He runs in. There's 3 Blues players looking at the ball. He runs in, jumps up, and just takes the ball cleanly in the air. And then he lands and runs in. 3 Blues players just standing there watching him catching the ball and scoring a try. I had no idea what the Blues players were doing. I think it was the case where all 3 Blues players were expecting the other one to contest for the ball, and no one did. So then Dargunu just cleanly took the ball and ran in for a try. That was, 70th minute. Dargunu scores that, and the Reds are down by 10 points. So they need a converted try, and then something and a penalty to draw, or 2 tries to win, right? And then with 10 minutes to go, you think it's doable. But yeah, the Reds' execution was just poor. The Blues were able to just turn the ball over just at the breakdown again and again and again. The Reds' support in the breakdown was really poor towards the end there. However, the Blues were not able to execute themselves. And it just led to 10 minutes of, pretty much neither team were able to put consistent pressure on. And eventually, at 79th minute, Reds had a penalty, 40 meters out again. And this time, the Reds did the math. So basically, the Reds don't have enough time to score right now. And they need two scores need a penalty and a try to level the game. So there's no way they can score a try in a minute and a half, and then score like the try again or any points after that. So the Reds opted to kick for 3 points and maybe try and make a try, with, in the extra time. Not extra time, like, overtime. So with about just over a minute left, Reds opted to kick from 40 meters out. And as I mentioned, the Reds' regular kickers, James O'Connor and Bryce Hegarty, are both out. Henry missed a kick in a similar position in the first half. So the Reds had a 40-meter out penalty. The person that comes up to take the kick is Dargunu. Filippo Dargunu. And you're like, and the commentator's like, I have never seen Dargunu kick a goal ever. How is this happening? He sets the ball up, and you're just like, probably just Reds throwing, like, I don't know why. Like, surely, like, whatever. Let's see what happens, okay? Dargunu gets the ball, puts it down. He said, because, like, the time is running out as well. You had, the penalty was given with a minute and a half left. So he's only got, like, he has to get the ball kicked so then they can get the return kick for another crack at the scoring a try, right? He sets the ball up pretty quickly, and he just slots the goal, like, pinpoint accurate, slots it, like, almost a perfect kick from over 40 meters away with a little bit of angle. He just slots it. Easy as that. Like, nobody expected him to even get anywhere. Like, I thought he was gonna miss. He just slots it, and it didn't even look like he was under pressure, and he took it pretty quickly too. It didn't look like he was like, it didn't look like he was like, if you watch like Owen Farrell, he takes his time, he does all this aiming, all these stupid things, right? He doesn't do any of that. He just like put the ball down, take a few steps back, ran up, kicked it, and it was just like a perfect kick, went straight over. Like, everybody was surprised. Everybody was amazed how Dargunu were able to just easily slot that one. So the Reds are now down by 7. And the Blues has time to do a kickoff. So the Blues does the kickoff, Reds recovers, and they have one last crack at running the ball out to score a try to draw the game. And the Reds were running. They were not going anywhere. They were barely making out of their own 22. And I think maybe 7-8 phases later, the Reds dropped the ball. The Blues defense were pretty good, but the Reds attack were just really lacking that little bit of something to get themselves through the advantage line. And then, the final score, 31 Blues, 24 Reds. I don't know. I don't know how much difference would have made if Hegarty or O'Connor was playing. But that yellow card in the first half, when Payangamosa went off, with Blues able to score 2 tries from that was really painful. But other than that, it was pretty close of a game, I would say. The Blues did look a little bit better, but the Reds weren't too far behind, I would say. But yeah, the Blues did deserve that win. Let's have a look at some stats. Let's see if there's anything we missed out. Pretty even meters. The Reds had more attack, but yeah, they weren't able to crack. Both teams weren't. Yeah, the Reds really pushing offloads a little bit. The Blues were defending quite a bit, and that is and then to talk about the kicks. There was a lot of stupid kicking from the Reds as well. Like, the Reds' attack weren't going anywhere, and they just end up like randomly kicking the ball away. I thought that was, I don't know. I felt like the Reds attack really lacked a bit of oomph this game. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That's the 2 games on Friday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, Saturday, for 2 games tomorrow. And I think there's a Sunday game with the Rebels. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.